said.
Fortune
has a big influence on who wins the championship in the NBA insofar as health is concerned, and that does apply here. But once they start playing the games, if people are more or less at full strength, actually the NBA is the one sport where the best team almost always wins. I will say this, the expectations, he says championship, I get it. If the season starts and we find out that's still KD, then he's right. Then you should have, your expectation should be that you get out of the Eastern Conference because you have KD and Kyrie and several other excellent players, Vert and Dinwiddie and a coach who obviously has a good relationship with his top stars. We'll see how he coaches. And Brooklyn is the backdrop, a city that's so thirsty for a basketball championship. An NBA championship. Hasn't had one since before I was born. I was born August 73. They won in January of 73. So I get it if he's healthy. But at this moment, we don't know that KD is the KD that we know, right? We don't know how he's going to come back from the Achilles. Because as I was reminded by some members of the Seattle Storm, Breonna Stewart notwithstanding, Achilles almost always mean that the athlete's not the same going forward. If KD is 80% of himself, think someone like Paul George, right? Excellent player, an all-star, but not KD. Now all of a sudden, if I said, what about if it was Paul George and Kyrie? Would everyone assume they're going to make the finals? I don't think so. Now, if he's KD, if he's 100% KD or close to it, get out of the East, man. You got enough. We do not know that. To assume that is actually to put too much on KD. He has to be a 1 in a million medical case, including a 1 in a billion player.
And what if he is? I understand that you say they should get out of the East. What about in terms of the West? How do they stack up?
Well, we have to see how. I don't think that they go all the way next year, but I do think if KD is KD, it's reasonable to have the expectations get to the finals. I don't think it's reasonable to have the expectation that KD is KD. So I have to say, as far as Steve Nash talks about fortune playing a role, in terms of the health of the team, it's got to help them.
Where are you on this?
KD is on the clock. That's where I'm at with it. Let's face reality here. We've talked about this in the past. KD electing to go to Golden State. Obviously, LeBron is getting a lot of shine. KD believes he's the best in the world. Hell, I believe he's the best in the world. He's that sensational. He's a scoring machine. Career 27-point-per-game scorer, just like LeBron James is. He goes to Golden State, wins back-to-back titles. Should have three-peated if he hadn't torn his Achilles. I mean, the bottom line is they would have beat Toronto. I think we all know that. Having said all of that, he decides to go to Brooklyn. You got a guy like Kyrie that was in Cleveland. Kyrie's talking about how, excuse me, you're the first guy that I don't mind, taking a shot in the clutch rather than me, stuff like that. So LeBron goes to L.A. LeBron handles his business. He delivers a chip. He's the king again. The king has a crown again, as opposed to just calling himself the king for the last 3+ years. Now he truly is the king again. He's the best in the world. You, KD, you were not healthy. You come back, I still believe KD can average 27 in his sleep. Whether or not he's going to be the same remains to be seen. But remember, his success isn't predicated on his athleticism. He's 6'11" with a 7'6" wingspan that has a handle and has range that can rival Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. This brother is that elite. And so when I look at it and I look at the squad that Brooklyn has with LeVert and all of these boys and the kind of crew that they have together with a healthy Kyrie and a healthy Kevin Durant, there is no excuse not to make it to the NBA Finals. And if you go up against LeBron, LeBron is standing there as the king with the crown. What are you going to do?
Two things.
That's what this is about.
Two things. One, looking back on it, thank God Kawhi didn't sign with the Lakers like LeBron wanted him to. Because it would have cheapened the accomplishment.
No question.
That's something KD's got to understand. When he joined a 73-win team with another MVP on it and Steph and a great team, well, obviously if you win 73 games and won a championship, it's discounted. People are like, you didn't really prove anything because you could not win the title. That's what would have happened if Kawhi would have gone to the Lakers. The fact that he didn't, LeBron is standing. Yeah, he had AD with him, but other dudes had stars with them too. LeBron looks better for it. That's the first thing. And so KD, good. It has to match that, right? He's on a good team. He has Kyrie, but it's not like they have 3 super-duper stars. Here's the other thing. You're right. Just because he scores 27 points a game doesn't mean he's KD. And that's what I'm saying, Stephen A. Let's say Kyrie was with this version of Jason Tatum. I won't use Paul George because he did so poorly in the playoffs, but let's say he's with this version of Jason Tatum right now, which is a guy who might average 27 next year and be great, but maybe not an MVP yet. Would we be sitting here saying they have Tatum and Kyrie, they got to get out of the East?
That's
I don't
fair,
think so.
but let me throw this by you. We keep talking about how KD, in other words, in terms of him capturing a championship, you still have certain things to prove, okay? Let's keep in mind that even though he went to Golden State and he joined Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, he was still the best player on that team.
Yep.
KD is all world. KD is great. And so once we get that out the way and we establish, the level of greatness is real. There is no denying that. Now, really, it's all about you going up against greatness and really validating yourself. You chose to go to Brooklyn. That's where you want to go. You want to join your boy Kyrie Irving because Brooklyn didn't want Kyrie without KD. We know that KD was their target. They settled for Kyrie to come with them because that was the package deal that they wanted. But in the end, now it's about stepping up and making sure to remind the world you're on that level. You're on that level. Now, he doesn't have to remind anybody that he's great because we all know.
No, see, I see it the opposite.
To this.
I see it the opposite. Remember how you were going at the analytics before, and basically people who go at analytics are saying it fails to capture some kind of human element. So
well, I'm not saying that.
But let me say this.
I'm just saying this should be the number one thing.
I understand, but I'm getting to something else. Michael Jordan was already the goodest player in the world before he won a championship. He was way better than Magic and Bird and everyone else before he ever won a title. But he proved his greatness by winning a championship. This is something where I depart with the analytics community. I do think that championships prove something about what's inside, right? I think that greatness comes from that. Not just how excellent you can be, but there's an added dimension. That's why it's so important for KD now. We already knew he was the goodest, right? We knew he was better than Steph before he got on that team. What we want to see is, can you be great when your team needs you to? And the fact is, the Warriors were so good, it never came to that. So what he has a chance to do in Brooklyn now is to prove his actual greatness. Can he lead a team that's not necessarily supposed to win the whole thing to the promised land?
I don't think it's a matter of greatness because I don't think anybody questions it. I think it's about who you go up against. When you're going up against that dude, listen, you want to talk about what really validated Jordan's greatness? Well, your first title was over Magic, even though Magic was obviously beyond his prime. The second title was against Clyde Drexler and Terry Porter and those boys in Portland. We saw what Jordan did to them. The third one was against Barkley, and people keep forgetting that Kevin Johnson was the real deal, and Dan Marley. Then you got GP with Sean Kemp before he became Sean Clump. You had Utah with Stockton and Malone. And then en route to going to the finals, whether it was Ewing and the Knicks, whether it was Reggie Miller and the Indiana Pacers, the list goes on and on. You were not Cleveland. People were getting Cleveland. Even when they didn't win the championship, before they won the championship, you had Mark Price, you had Larry Nance, you had Matt Doherty and these boys. Cleveland had a crew.
This is why I'm saying KD has a different kind of opportunity now. The thing about Jordan, everyone you just mentioned, Stephen A., a lot of really, really good teams, some great ones. No one ever thought any of them dudes were better than Michael Jordan, period. Jordan never had to slay the monster because he was
why I'm saying slay the monster.
Right, because he was the monster. Muhammad Ali had to slay the monster. He's a big underdog against Sonny Liston and George Foreman. There's some added component that we remember differently that proves something about the intestinal fortitude and stuff like that, the greatness inside, when you're not the favorites, the overwhelming favorites as KD was in Golden State. When you have an obstacle to overcome.
But he still went to the finals and he still averaged 35 on 50+% shooting. When he said to LeBron, okay, I got a crew now. Now it's me and you.
But next year,
but this is why I'm saying next year he's on the clock. He's not on the clock because he was injured and now he's coming back. He's on the clock because of who the champion is now.
Yep.
That dude is somebody that you have quietly declared you are better than. And so that dude is going to be waiting. Even in his 18th season, he's going to be waiting. And KD, what you going to do? What you going to do? That's what we'll be looking for next season.
This is a debate show, but we were on the same page about that one. Just the way it is sometimes, unfortunately for TV. We're on the same page. But check this out. LeBron James deserves all the credit in the world. I give it to him. The fact of the matter is AD might be the second best player in the world, right? Anthony Davis. And when the two best players in the world or two of the top five best players get together, they almost always win the championship, period. That's what LeBron has. That's not what KD has. Kyrie is not one of the top 5 players in the world. May have one of the top 5 skill sets, top 5 talent. He hasn't put it together to call him one of the top 5 in the world. And
he is a champion, though.
But he's not top 5. You wouldn't put him in your top 5. Okay.
No, but he's a champion.
And KD is coming off a catastrophic career-altering injury for most people who've ever had that injury.
If you're trying to come back too prematurely, this COVID-19 has helped. It's giving them additional time off.
Okay, I'm saying that just like KD did what he didn't prove in Golden State, he has the chance to prove now differently, but there is also pressure on Kyrie.
It's all about LeBron.
Kyrie's got to step up.
If LeBron was not the champion, KD wouldn't be on the clock. But it's because LeBron is standing there waiting and saying, I'm still a king. If you're that dude, KD, you respond to that challenge.
Who's the underdog there?
Who's the underdog?
Yep.
It's definitely KD and Kyrie.
No doubt.
Without question.
That's the point. They're the underdog. They have a chance.
Brooklyn's got a good team
to do something special.
Sean Marks has done a hell of a job. Brooklyn's got a good team. They can beat anybody. If KD, and this is the other thing, last point, because Brooklyn is so good, when you look at the parts around them, you're literally looking at KD and Kyrie and saying, all you guys got to be is who we've known you to be, and y'all can beat anybody. So literally, if they don't win,
Warriors, Lakers, anybody.
If you look at Brooklyn, the talent that they have without Kyrie and KD,
on the Lakers,
without Kyrie and KD, if Kyrie and KD comes and they are who we know them to be, Brooklyn should win it all.
Yeah,
they should win it all.
But, okay, let's
and
say
if they don't win it all, we're going to be looking at KD and Kyrie.
Let's say